Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Amar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Quinn Lindsay, founder of Quinn Lindsay Coaching, a mindset transformation specialist helping women and professionals break through self-limitations, rewire their beliefs, and achieve their boldest personal and professional dreams. Quinn, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I am excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning. So take me back to before you started your coaching company. What were you doing beforehand? And then what really motivated you to step into this space?
Okay, so I have been in education since 2008. So I had been a teacher for many, many years. And while I love that profession, I just always felt like there was more. Um, During a specifically hard time in my life, I came across coaching and got familiar with that. And down the road, I thought, why am I not coaching? This is something that I am passionate about. This is something that I feel like would be influential to people and a great change to make in the world. And so I did. I went through, I got my certified coaching certificate from the life school with Brooke Castillo. And anybody that is familiar with her knows how powerful and influential she is. And so I was able to finish that up in 2022. And that kind of was the beginning of Quinn Lindsay coaching, but it's taken a few years to kind of get going and to really get solidified in that business process of things.
Okay, very cool. So how long have you been running your coaching company right now?
So I've actually been running it for 3 years.
Nice.
It really has kind of been a side hustle for the last 3 years. This is the first year of really focusing full time and making this something that will be my full time profession and something that I'm just so passionate about.
Awesome. I love that. That's exciting. Congrats on going full time. I'd love to give the listeners more context into what your business looks like today. Who would you say is your ideal customer? Who do you love to work with?
So typically, I work with a lot of females. It's not that I haven't worked with males in the past, but I think that just my experience and kind of that mindset leads to me working with many females. One of the most recent things that we're working on right now is actually couples coaching. So we focus a lot with marriage and mindset.
Nice.
And that has been pretty powerful. My husband's been able to join in on that process. And so having not only my viewpoint as a female coach, but also his viewpoint as the male side and as husband has been really influential in our coaching that we've done with couples.
Okay, that's awesome. I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into the offer. So let's say, there's a couple that's interested in working with you. What does
Mhm.
that look like? How long do we work together? What are we helping them achieve? Walk me through that.
Yep. So really, when we are working with couples, we typically like to start out with a 3-month program. We're working one-on-one for 12 weeks
Nice.
with each couple, and that's what it kind of looks like. We do have a few sessions where we'll divide up. We'll meet with just the wife or with the husband or vice versa. But we really put those goals onto the couple. So what are they struggling with?
Mm,
What are their goals moving forward? And that's what's so powerful about one-on-one coaching is that you can take the goals that that individual wants and move forward. Now, with that being said, sometimes it's hard for people to identify what their actual goals are, right? They can identify a problem, but sometimes don't really know how to fix that problem or come up with goals to help them fix that problem. And that's why, again, coaching can be so helpful and powerful.
Well, I'm curious, what are some of the most common problems you see that your clients face?
We have a wide range of things, but I would say mostly what we see is just misunderstanding and
Mhm.
miscommunication. In any type of relationship you're in, we we tell each other stories about the other person, right? This could be in a romantic relationship you're in. This could be in in a professional relationship you're in. This can be even be friendships. The
Mm,
hardest part with these relationships is that we just don't always understand what people actually mean,
mm,
or we make up stories as to, well, Amar did this, and so this must mean that he doesn't like me. When in reality, you're like, oh no, I was just busy. That's not what I
yeah.
actually meant, right? So we see a lot of miscommunication, misunderstanding. Um, we see a lot of just disconnection because of life. We get
Mm,
busy with our jobs, we get busy with our families. Um, we experience life as human beings and we change. And that can be a hard process to figure out along the way as you're making changes and what that looks and feels like moving forward.
mm. If you were talking to somebody who's experiencing that, the miscommunication, the misunderstanding inside of their marriage, and you could give them just a quick piece of advice, what do you think that would be?
Honestly, my best piece of advice is to give the other person a little bit of grace. If we can take just one little bit of grace and say, I think they're doing their best. How can I better understand? Or how can I understand from their point of view? All of a sudden, our viewpoint changes, and usually our thoughts about that situation changes. And that is the easiest yet hard thing to do, but makes a huge difference in how we can deal with relationships.
Mm, yeah, that's so huge. And just having the self-awareness to not overreact and to just be like, okay, let me just calm down, let me just relax, and then approach this from a more resourceful standpoint.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's huge. So I have a lot of coaches and consultants that listen to this. I'd love to shift a little bit to the back end of the business when it comes to the sales and marketing piece. Now that you're full time, fortunately or unfortunately, to leads, generate more business.
So honestly, what has been working for me as of right now, is using social media as platforms. They really are so powerful. Whether you are creating content and then having a call to action. I've had a lot of success with cold calling or cold messaging, warm
Wow.
messaging, actually. And it really boils down to just having something that people can relate to is what I'm finding. Really targeting what's their problem or what are they struggling with and how I can help. Now, that doesn't always mean that that leads to immediate sales because it hasn't, but
Yeah.
it gets the ball rolling. What I found, especially when we're working with relationships, is that it's a it's a hot topic. It's a sensitive topic, and it takes people a little bit of time to commit to wanting to work on that. So sometimes we'll start with smaller packages, or we'll start with the individual. If it's a actually, I did have a guy that reached out to me, and he said, I want to make my relationship better. My girlfriend doesn't. I asked her to do this coaching with you. She doesn't want to do it. So we'll
Mm,
start with a different package where it's individual, but that's kind of where we've started with marketing, um, with sales. That's I don't think you've probably talked to any coach that that's not an issue, is trying to
yeah.
find those lead generations and follow through with sales. That just is how it is right now.
1000%. It sounds like a lot of it is organic for you when it comes to social media. I'm assuming Instagram is probably the main spot for you.
Mhm.
Have you ever played around with anything else? Maybe like paid ads or cold outbound, anything like that?
I have done a few paid ads. That has been great as far as getting people into Instagram, into following. It's led to some messaging. I'm not sure on my end, and granted, I haven't been doing this long term, but it hasn't showed me a ton of benefits yet. It
Mm,
does get my name out there, it does get my
yeah,
message out there, which is helpful. Um, but that's something that I still feel like is room for growth for me.
yeah. I'm curious what the call to action was. Like what were you trying to get them to do at the end of the ad?
So, call to action was one of the things that we would do is reach out. Um, if this program is something that would benefit you to reach out that way. And then what we would usually do is we had like a sales funnel where we would either have them watch a video for couples coaching, individual coaching, and then we would meet up for sales calls that way.
Got it. Okay, so
Mhm.
it's not like a direct checkout page. They hop on
Right.
with you and they go from,
Right. So
yeah,
as of right now, we really aren't offering a lot of coursework. We could offer that direct
yeah,
sales link, but what I found is it tends to scare people away when I started 3 years ago, that's kind of what I was doing is that
yeah,
direct sales link, pay right here. But what I found is for most people, it helps to work through that process because they're signing on to a package, right? It's
yeah,
not just a one small time thing. It's a larger purchase package for them.
for
And
sure.
so, meeting to say, okay, what are your problems? Am I hearing you correctly? Is this a good fit? Because I might not be the best coach for you.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's how we've had the best success is working through it that way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I actually think it's better to do that approach because I've worked with hundreds of coaches at this point. We've overall worked with over like 3,000 at this point. It is much better to go that route if you truly want to help um, create a transformation. Because the reality with courses, like 90 something percent of people don't finish a course, which is ridiculous.
Exactly. Exactly.
That they paid money for. But if there's a program, the success rate is a lot higher, especially if it's one-on-one.
Hmm.
Um, Now I'm curious with you, with the sales process, is that you taking the calls? Is it your husband? What does that look like?
So mostly it's me. If we meet in the evening, he may be around for those sales calls.
Okay.
But for the most part right now, it's me taking the sales calls, and working
Yeah.
through that process. So we also own a landscaping business, so he's busy
Nice.
taking care of that side of things. So as of right now, unless it's evening time, that's what that looks like in the
Okay,
sales
got it.
calls.
So this is mainly your baby, so
Yep,
to speak.
for the most part.
Yeah. When you think of the future and where you want to take the company, so you're now, you've gone into it full time this year. What do you really want the next 12 months to look like? What are you aiming towards? Walk me through some of your goals.
So honestly, these are our goals for the year. We love to sign clients and our goal is 5 clients per month. And
Nice.
and some coaches might be like, "Well, that's not very much." But when we're starting, that's a huge influx for us. So
Yeah,
5 clients per month. Right now I'm actually working on a group package right now. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people that, I'm scared to do this one-on-one because sometimes it's scary to really dive deep into your problems and to share that. So we're looking at a group package for coaching in that situation.
cool.
So I'm hoping by the end of this month we have that ready to release and implement as well. And with that group package, I mean, we would ideally, our goal set for that is to sign 15 clients per month.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
so ideally, we're signing 20 new clients each month, which just continues to build and grow. Just like with any business, it's just starting and gaining that traction of
Yeah.
you got to start somewhere. But having those solid numbers, having a goal to reach for is huge, especially with our mindset.
1,000%. Yeah, I love that. I love that you broke it down in terms of the one-on-one and then the group coaching as well. I think group coaching with your offer would absolutely crush. Um, I am curious, what do you feel like is the biggest challenge to getting there consistently?
Honestly, I think getting there consistently, the algorithms on social media are funny things. I feel like that is one of my challenges right now. You're trying to figure that out, how that works, right? Because some months you just are skyrocketing and other months not so much. And I work with a coach as well, a business coach, and that's what we talk about, that really that consistency when you're relying on that is sometimes hard to get.
Mm,
Again, when you're starting out and you're up against other coaches, sometimes that's a little bit hard. They're looking at, another more established coach versus you and different things. Sometimes you have some advantage in that, in the fact that maybe your prices might be a little bit lower than an established coach. But really, I mean, for me right now, consistency, letting it grow organically is huge for me. I want to push, but at the same time, it's got to be doable for me because this is still new and growth for me as well. So
sure.
that's kind of where we're at with consistency. We're just putting it out there to the universe and letting things go.
There you go. I love that. I think you have a great mentality around it. When you say you want to have it grow organically, do you mean you don't want to leverage ads to get clients? Like if
No,
you
I
could, yeah.
I think we will leverage ads. A lot of that as well. There is a budget for that, and hopefully that just continues to grow each month as consistency
Yeah.
with our clients come in. That's one
Mhm.
of the toughest things as you're starting any type of business is being able to leverage what you have, um, and get your returns with it, which
Yeah.
coaching is a whole different beast. Like I said, my husband and I own another business. I have another side business as well. And this coaching business is a different beast. It just, it's a little bit different than having a physical product or service to sell.
1000%. It's a different sale, it's a different
Hmm.
funnel, it's all of those different things. The thing with ads though that I found is that if the product is dialed in terms of, the things that you're fulfilling on with the clients and you set up the ads correctly, what we found to work best is something called the short form funnel. Like we spend 500,000 to $750,000 a month on ads.
Okay.
Um, and that crushes. Where basically it's a 60 to 90-second ad, takes them to a landing page, gets them to fill out an application, gets them to book a call, and you can start with as little as $30 to $50 a day, and make it work like in 5 to 10 days.
Which
Um,
is great to know. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. I would think about that.
Okay. That's good to know. Like I said, I work with a business coach right now. They really do focus more on their model of social media, right? So we're not focusing
Mm,
on much outside of that, but it's always good to know the extras and,
yeah.
inside outside of that.
Yeah, because I completely agree with you. Organic is huge and it's nice to have that going. Um, the only thing with it is it's a little bit tougher to build predictability with the business as opposed to something like an ads, because ads I'm like, okay, I'll spend this much and I'll get this many applications and I'll get this many booked calls. And if I have the right sales systems in place, I'm gonna, convert, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, if not a little bit
Hmm.
more. And then it's like, okay, cool. We pull this lever and we get more on the other
Yeah,
side of it. When you couple the two, it becomes very powerful. When you do have the organic stuff going and you have paid, then you're like converting people that don't convert right away. Eventually they'll come in down the line. So I don't think one or the other. I actually think both is very, very beneficial.
I
Uh,
agree. I agree. I mean, in any type of business, I feel like you have to hit in many different aspects. So,
yeah, for sure. It's like Google came out and they said, on average, it takes 7 touch points to turn a stranger into a client. So they come across you in some way, shape, or form, 7 different on average. So, some people it's
hmm.
less, some people it's more. I also think they said no, I think it might have been 9 touch points, and they said on average they want to consume about 7 hours of your content, something like that.
Which
But
is interesting because that takes time.
that takes a lot of time. That
Yeah.
takes a lot of time. That's where YouTube can be beneficial because YouTube is better for the long form. Um,
Hmm.
but I am curious, like, if you could go back in time to when you first started this business and you could give yourself a piece of advice of something that you know now, but you didn't know at the time, what do you think you would tell yourself?
Honestly, I would tell myself that to believe in myself, to have courage.
Mm,
Initially I thought coming out with my coaching certificate, I was like, I'm going to do this full time. And then life kind of happened and we had a few bumps in the road. And all of a sudden it just was like, well, you can't do this. You just got to go back to what you were doing.
mm,
And coaching has been one of my biggest mindset growths pieces to grow because you have to, right?
yeah.
This is something coaching's been around for a long time, but what I find is people are still relatively new to the idea of coaching and what it can do for you, right? Especially in our avenue with couples, people say, "Well, why would I just not go to a couples counselor? What's the benefit of coaching?" So, really, that belief in yourself, taking a risk, taking a chance, and going all in. That's what I would tell myself then. Um, Part of that, obviously, you had to learn through lessons, learn through all of those things. And the other thing I would tell myself at that point is niche down. I
Mm,
knew that, but I didn't realize how important that was going to be, right? I just wanted to address all of these different areas for people. And so I didn't want to niche down, but that's why I was not successful in the first couple years is because I was focusing on too many things. Once I decided, hey, this is where the area that I want to focus on, all of a sudden things started to turn a little bit more. Now, this might just be a personal thing. Maybe I get tired of things. I'm like, well, I don't want to just focus on this. Well, that doesn't mean that I only have to focus on this, but to get a business started, you've got to niche down. So those are kind of the three things I would tell myself. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe you're capable of it. You got to go all in. You have to commit. And then making sure you niche down. You've got to find that problem that you can help people with. You can't
yeah.
solve everything,
No.
which sometimes we want to, but you got to solve something for somebody.
I love that. That was beautifully said. What is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
You can reach out to me through Instagram is a great way to DM me there. You can also visit my website at quinnlindsaycoaching.com. There's contact forms there. I'm available also on other forms of social media, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of those different avenues. So those are ways that you can reach me.
Beautiful. Awesome. Quinn, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we were able to go from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.